Hello, Palm Springs. It's Vince, the posture guy. Today, we're talking about our feet. Our feet are the first thing to make contact with the earth, and so the first thing that is going to set off our posture. Unfortunately, we are a shoe-wearing society, and so I don't know how you all are going to overcome that unless you can just get into your bare feet as much as you can. I think that's why so many people like their yoga classes. It gives them a chance to get barefoot and do that. And again, in mixed martial arts classes, anything that you're taking that way, we're barefoot that way as well. Now you see me barefoot in the gym and stuff all the time. Private gym, I can get away with it. Nobody's going to tell me that I'm going to break the insurance rules in my own gym. It's very important that we have sensitivity and control in our feet. All of the shoes we wear, you start hearing about all the corrections about putting insole supports and all of this stuff. It's a Band-Aid going in the reverse direction because shoes already sent you in that bad direction, right? They're always elevated in the back, and so we're not getting good stretch in our Achilles and our calves and all that sort of stuff. Not to mention, there are all kinds of people out there that love wearing high heels. Not even going to mention which sex likes to wear high heels, because they both do. But man, it's even worse because it has a tendency to shove all the weight of your body down into your toes, right? When you start getting hammer toes, they start curving in from the pinky to the big toe, and you get bunions and you get all this stuff. And calluses leads me to the calluses. That is not a sign of success, right? Doing things, your skin should become tough and pliable and stay that way. Calluses are a very dried out and a buildup of dead skin, and they can get very dry and irritated and crack, and they're just not ideal. And I think people have been misled in their own brain about what it means to have leather, or a skin like leather. You know, right? They always refer to somebody that looks very old on TV and very wrinkly, and they'll say, oh, they've got skin like leather. But leather's supposed to be a supple, wonderful skin. It's not supposed to be dried out and wrinkly. And so that is an incorrect statement. To have leathery skin is what you would really want on the bottoms of your feet. It's become a tough hide that is still pliable without wrinkling, and it's still hydrated. It's still got its own oils, and it still works well. So that's what having a good hide is. Having good skin, good pull, good tension, good elasticity, all that sort of stuff. And then down in our feet in particular, we have so many nerves down there that direct us in our posture. And when we keep wearing shoes everywhere, it is so easy for it to make us get lazy in our posture. It'll be amazing. You just go out and you just put your tender little feet outside on the sidewalks and everything, which mine show that Bettina hated, that I even have a little bit of dirt showing on there because I walk around every day barefoot. But it shows you the 3 points of contact. We've got 3 arches in our foot, not just the one that everybody thinks, the big one. And these are the points of contact that you want to be making for the most point with a little toe drive, you know, depending on what you're doing. But let's just stick with the basics on dealing with those arches. And you find them very easily when you're barefoot. Your feet become very sensitive. They've got a ton of nerves. They can find the tiniest little grain of rice and send it up to your brain really quickly, and you watch how that'll make you adjust in your posture. And we have a tendency to want to lean forward when we have good posture, and then that makes us walk like, you know, the grasshopper. We are placing our foot somewhere delicately and feeling points of contact with the front of the foot, the side of the foot, and then the back. You get a lot of doctors and people telling everybody, oh, have a good heel-toe walk. That is shoe walking walk. That is not how you would walk if you were barefoot, and I don't think that's just good advice at all. Walking around going heel-toe, heel-toe, I mean, you can feel that vibration go up into your spine. That's not good stuff. You take your shoes off and you'll see that you'll go the other way. You'll go to the balls of your feet, or at the very least, it will be an even pressure all the way across the outside of your foot. Right? Go step on something that will send a quick nerve up through your feet, and you'll see that your feet will roll outward, right? The way our toes angle. We have the big toe, and then they all kind of taper down. And we do taper off that way when we naturally walk, right? Our knee wants to unlock and open when we walk or run. We've got that popliteus. I always get that word backwards, but there's a little tiny muscle in the back of the knee that its little job is to undo that lock in our knee. Our knee doesn't just hinge, it closes and screws. It does a little screw home effect, they call that. And that little muscle opens that up. And lo and behold, our little toes roll over that way, and you step on something irritating on the ground, and you'll quickly see that you will roll over to that side of that foot. That's how we're supposed to be working. How can you possibly do any of that in a shoe? You can't. So do yourself a favor and walk around every now and then barefoot and watch what it does to your posture. Observe it in the mirror. Start to feel how it shifted your pelvic bone and how you learn to lean from the hip. Remember, there's a difference from leaning forward with the hip or leaning forward with bad posture. Shoulders back, a little tip in the hip when we walk or when we engage in something. The only time we wouldn't really be leaning forward is when we're at a full standstill and we wanted to stand up nice and tall so that we could look out over the horizon and see if a grizzly bear is going to come to eat us or something. But we don't even have to do that too much anymore. But check out your posture. And since we don't have the natural cues from our feet to do it, we have to learn to do it ourselves. And so that's what we teach. That's pulling your shoulders back, having a tight core, taking the anterior tilt out of your pelvic area, and making your feet start to roll back out instead of going plantar fasciitis, right? When your feet go down in the wrong way, you start getting flat-footed, and you start pulling out all of that connective tissue down there, and then you've got sore, flat feet. I think it's enough.